So Black Ops Cold War is going to be getting its final couple of updates really soon to round out the year. 2022 we're about midway through it right now, and Modern Warfare 2 is literally getting revealed in like 9 days, and the game is coming out in October, so in the meantime, they're going to be releasing a couple more final updates for this game, and as far as that relates to zombies specifically, there is still a bunch of unreleased content that has either been prototyped or they're maybe just sitting on and waiting for the perfect time to release it, and we're going to be talking about what those updates might include. This includes potentially maps, guns, game modes, and more. As I'm sure you're all aware, one of the most recent updates we got for Cold War was the addition of the Super Easter Egg for zombies, which if you have done every main quest, you can activate a thing inside of Zoo, and it gives you a fully upgraded gun as soon as you spawn into a game. But other than that, additions to zombies, they also added the Abomination HVT to Outbreak. We haven't really seen anything else in terms of, zombie-specific content or otherwise. However, we did recently get a zombie-specific Onslaught mode that is Mystery Munitions. It's pretty much Onslaught gun game. You just get a different gun every round, and it's pretty decent. But other than that stuff, there are still a couple of big updates that we're waiting on, and in particular, those include the likes of some unreleased Outbreak maps, a couple of wonder weapons that aren't yet in the game, and also some bundles and skins that I'm sure are still being worked on, but I don't know when they're getting added. Now, I think as far as multiplayer maps go, I do believe Jungle is the last to be added to the rotation, and unfortunately Treyarch did not add WMD or Jungle into the Onslaught mode, so you can't actually play it in zombies if you want to. And if you've either been watching videos or if you read the blog post yourself, you'll notice that Treyarch literally specified that they're currently not working on any maps at the time for Black Ops Cold War, and their reasoning is they are making round-based maps for Vanguard, which we'll talk about in a second. But just before we continue, if you guys are enjoying the video, just make sure to drop a thumbs up as we go along, and subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. We're getting very close to 500,000, and that would be greatly appreciated. So Treyarch specified verbatim that they're not making any more round-based maps for Cold War, or they don't have the plans to yet because they're working on round-based maps for Vanguard, which that is going to be coming out soon. So Vanguard is releasing a full-on Shi No Numa Reborn, which is they're taking the mechanics of Vanguard, completely scrapping them and starting from the bottom, and to be honest, I don't think anybody cares at all. I think basically Vanguard is a lost cause at this point as far as zombies go, and to me, it really doesn't matter if the gameplay of this is solid or not. They're going to have a whole main Easter egg with this. It's going to be Shi No Numa as you remember it, with some added additions and features, and I'm not really sure what their entire plans for this map are, but it's going to be coming out, I believe, in Vanguard Season 4 is most likely what it's slated for. But the important thing to remember here is that I don't think this is going to do literally anything for the game's reputation. It's not going to get people playing the game again, I don't think, very much. Most people have just literally given up on Vanguard at this point, so I'm not sure why they are continuing to pursue this. However, I don't think they're dumping a huge amount of resources into this game. It's also worth noting that the main Treyarch team is probably not working on this Vanguard project. It's likely a group of small people, so I wouldn't expect too much out of the Shi No Numa Reborn, and if they're not making any more round-based maps at the moment for Cold War, then what is the Treyarch team doing? And this is where things get really interesting. So obviously 2023 is going to be a gap year for Call of Duty. There's going to be no mainline game that releases. Modern Warfare 2 releases in October of this year, and supposedly that's going to be the supported game until Treyarch's next title in 2024. So there's a long gap in between then, and if they're not making anything for Cold War, clearly there's something going on. But as far as unreleased content for Cold War, we'll get into that really quickly. There are a bunch of unreleased Ural Mountain map locations that never made their way to Outbreak, namely things like Weather Station, that exist, and I'm pretty sure, could be fairly easy to slip into the rotation of Outbreak, but for one reason or another, either they're saving it or they're just not going to do it at all. Technically, these aren't round-based maps, so they're not entirely out of the question for additional updates, but at the same time, the past update we got for zombies included the HVT version of the Abomination, which is basically the main elite enemy in Forsaken, and that's cool, but it doesn't. My problem was it didn't come with its corresponding wonder weapon, which I feel like was kind of a, missed opportunity or a mistake. The Chrysalax, that's the wonder weapon in Forsaken, and also the Cerberus pistol, both of these aren't in the rotation, and a lot of people would like to see these added, including myself. I think they would make great additions, and again, I feel like they would be fairly easy to slip into the rotation and the meta of that. There were also a few prototyped round-based maps that we never saw or were either reworked, so Spusk Stali, you guys may remember that, was leaked to be DLC 4, but it ended up being Forsaken. It was supposed to be like an ice tunnel sort of deal, and it was going to be a very vertical map, but obviously this was never released in the game, and I don't think this ever got finished. But there was also rumors of the Nocturne Toten / Duris, like small survival map in this game, and of course that's never made it either. Again, they're either sitting on this content and waiting for the perfect time to release it for Cold War as they continue to support it, because there are a couple more updates, but before they call it curtains, hopefully we get some more big things. As far as I'm aware right now, there's not a whole lot of plans to keep frequently and, substantively supporting Cold War after the release of Modern Warfare 2. I think it'll be a lot more clear as soon as Vanguard seasons wrap up, and thankfully, there's only 5 seasons for that game, so we're getting pretty close to the end. I think everybody is just trying to run across the finish line at this point, and like I said, it'll be made a lot more clear once that happens of what they want to do with this game. But Modern Warfare 2 is obviously going to be the focus, but there are no zombies in this year's Modern Warfare 2. So obviously they're leaving the zombies community hanging in some sense, but I don't think it's the end of the story, or I just don't think it's that simple. To me, Vanguard is a red herring, and the zombies team mainly is not working on this, and they're obviously also not working on Cold War, and due to the tweets that have been put out recently as Treyarch has updated Cold War, it looks like the zombies team in particular is working on some big massive COD project that they just call more COD content. I think it's actually more likely than not that we see some kind of like standalone zombies project in 2023. Now, I don't want to make the claim that it's a full-on standalone game with all the previous experiences combined into one. As amazing as that would be, there are some parts of it that feel unrealistic to me. However, I do think it's possible that some kind of standalone zombies experience will be released in 2023 during the gap year before Treyarch's next game. That's literally more likely than not, in my opinion. It's the same situation we had right after Black Ops 3. Infinity Ward dropped Infinite Warfare, and that game still had zombies, but the main Treyarch team was working on Chronicles for during the release of that game's life cycle. Like Infinite Warfare was actively going on at the time of Zombies Chronicles release. But I don't think, as far as like 2023 goes, they have massive plans to like start making round-based maps again for Cold War, because I feel like they would have done them already, and obviously the Chronicles 2 is either canceled or is still being reutilized for something else that was originally developed for BO4. So that still exists, but I don't think it's coming to this game, which is actually a good sign if you ask me. I think realistically the best we can hope for right now in terms of year 2 content to wrap up Cold War is the final couple of different Outbreak regions added to the game, potentially the new wonder weapons, the Crystal Axe and Cerberus being added to the rotation of that as well, and maybe some kind of like one-off small survival experience would be really cool, although I don't expect it. My point is, Cold War is being left dry for a reason. I think if Treyarch didn't have anything bigger planned, they actually would have put more like time and effort and resources into Cold War Year 2, because like while the offering of the Year 2 stuff has been good, don't get me wrong, it's not been like the same caliber as probably what they could have done, but again, I think that's very intentional, so I think patience will pay off in due time. Vanguard is a red herring. This Shi No Numa Reborn, again, I'm going to try it out, but I don't expect literally anything from it, so it is what it is, but I'm just literally waiting now until 2023, and we'll see what happens. But hopefully the last couple of updates for Cold War are actually substantive, and they've got some meaning behind it, and hopefully we can round out the season in a good way. In particular, what would you like to see for the final few updates of Cold War? Let me know down below in the comments, but hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a like before you go, subscribe if you're new, and follow me on Twitch if you don't already. Links in the description, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you for watching, and peace out.